Good morning, everyone. I'm Theodore Boutros. I represent CNN and Mr. Acosta. We're extremely pleased with the ruling today. This is a great day for the First Amendment in journalism. We're very excited to have Mr. Acosta be able to go back and get his hard pass and report the news about the White House. I'll turn it over to Jim.
Okay. Everybody, thanks for coming. I just want to say something very briefly, and that is I want to thank all of my colleagues in the press who supported us this week. And I want to thank the judge for the decision he made today. And let's go back to work.
Hi, I'm Barry Gordon.
And I'm Andre Coleman.
Let's go back to work. This is NewsRap, live at 5.
Do it.
So Fox News actually showed that they were a journalistic organization.
You know,
after all,
that's really common. I've been in on several cases that required lawsuits to get information, and every time everybody jumps in because everybody knows if they keep it from you, they'll keep it from us.
Absolutely.
Besides, how are they going to steal it if they're not involved in it anyway? I mean, this is news for them tonight.
Right.
So it's a fraternity. Even if everybody's on different sides at some point, it's in their best interest to be in on it.
So where do you think it goes? I mean, do you think that they're just going to say, okay, he's got his pass, it's over? Or because remember, this was just a temporary restraining order.
And it turned out to be a Fifth Amendment remedy.
Yeah.
Not a First Amendment.
A due process remedy. Yeah.
The White House is going to leave it alone because I'll tell you the last thing they do want. They do not want the courts to decide what their guidelines have to be for removal. It's easier for them to do it once every 10 years, fight a court case, give it back, let it go. But when you set precedent and a court goes, these are the restrictions, A, B, C, D, and E, and a court already has ruled that the only way to bar someone, a working reporter, is if that person is a threat. So, see, there's already some guidelines in place. You let them set up too many guidelines, and they're calling the shots on who can come in, who can't. That's what they don't want. So they'll let this die, I think, at some point.
Yeah. So you don't see this lawsuit going any further.
Well,
they kind of got what they needed.
This is what people don't understand, and I know you know this, and this is what it really comes down to. They don't ever have to call on Jim Acosta again. They don't have to give him another question.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
So it would be easier just not to call on him. Let him stand there. He can yell all he wants and try to get his questions. They don't ever have to he does not have the right to have his questions answered.
Yeah.
He has the right to ask them. So I don't see it going anywhere because there are remedies and they can do things like this, all this stuff of we will just end our press conferences if he says something we don't like.
Right.
And I don't think they want to do that. I think that makes it look like they're running and they're scared. And they don't want to give up the information. And Trump just loves to brag and bloviate and lie anyway, so he would never walk away from a question.
No, I think that's probably true. I think that's probably true. It's an interesting result, and it kind of leads a little bit into what we were talking about maybe we would want to discuss today.
Okay.
Being a relatively light news week. But let's talk a little bit about the media and what the role of the media is, because a lot of things have happened. We have had not only the reinstatement of Acosta in the White House press corps, who did nothing wrong. But we also have the situation with Julian Assange. Apparently there was a screw-up by an attorney who let us know something that we shouldn't be knowing, which is that Julian Assange has been charged.
That's right.
And what does that mean? I mean, you must have mixed feelings about that. In one sense, obviously, if you charge Julian Assange, you know, that may be a prelude to other things happening in the Mueller probe. But this was not related to the Mueller probe.
That's right.
This was a separate charge.
Right.
So you probably don't like it when you see a, quote, journalist, close quote, attacked.
I don't, but there's a difference between a hobbyist, a journalist, a whistleblower, a spy, and some guy who's got a Facebook page. And all of them will tell you that they are reporters. And they all do operate within the First Amendment.
Right.
I don't say they don't at all. He probably leans somewhere between journalist and whistleblower. I would say he's more of a whistleblower than anything else.
Okay, hold that thought. And I'm going to let folks know that you can get in on the conversation, and we want you to do that. You can call us here if you're old school. You can call us at 626-794-8585. That's 626-794-8585. And you can also find us on social media, particularly on our Facebook page, the NewsRap page. So come follow us there, make comments.
Join in.
Join the conversation, because it's always better when you join in. So, is Assange a journalist?
Whistleblower.
Okay.
Journalist reports news no matter what it is. Whistleblower has one cause, and they blow the whistle with that one cause, and then they may go away for a while and blow the whistle again. Activists.
Except that he doesn't have a cause.
Okay.
That's the only problem. The only reason I wouldn't
Why did he do it?
probably label him as whistleblower is that from what I've seen of Assange, his only cause is to disrupt.
And to disrupt what?
Government. Period.
And how's he doing
I
that?
think he's an anarchist.
And how's he doing that?
I think that's basically
how's he
what
doing
he
that?
is.
He's providing information they want kept secret. Correct?
Correct.
So, is he, if the biggest news of the day...
Or he's providing fake information.
Okay, either way.
Yeah.
But if the biggest news of the day is the tea store that's opening down the street, is Assange going to go cover that?
No.
That's what reporters do.
I know. He's not going to do that.
He's a whistleblower, or he's a liar. He is taking information and he is revealing information to pull the curtain back on something that he is passionate about, just this one thing. But he is not necessarily going to go and change his beat and go cover the Dodgers or go to a city council meeting.
No.
Something like that. That's more of an activist whistleblower. Now, he may not be the kind of activist I necessarily like, but he's doing a form of whistleblowing activism.
I still challenge
that kind of thing.
Because I'm
Of course.
not sure it's out of a place of passion for a point of view.
But that's
I'm
what
not
whistleblowers
sure
are.
that that's what it is.
But whistleblowers are always passionate because they're going, this is wrong. And
Yeah,
I'm
I don't
getting it
think
out
he
there.
is.
So,
I think he mixes it up. I think he's a troll.
well,
I mean, I think he basically
Troll too.
has fun seeing government squirm.
so where you and I are on this is he's not a reporter.
I think that's where we
so-
certainly meet there. Yeah.
That's my point. That's what I'm saying. You can call him whatever you want after that. He's
Right.
not a reporter.
No.
Look, you have people, and I see it every day. You have people who go to Twitter, they go to Facebook, and they will post a link, and they will write the word breaking next to it. You're still not a reporter. You're a guy who posted a link on Facebook. I could go out in my front yard and recite Shakespeare. I'm not Denzel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still not an actor. Now, I might think I am, and I might claim to be, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. It doesn't mean that, and in both ways, you are providing information to the masses, which is fine. But I think sometimes we think, and where I take offense is with people like everybody else who think what I do is easy to do.
Mm-hmm.
Just as you, as a trained actor and a very good one, you would take offense with people who think that it's so easy to do. It's not.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
We have a comment, actually. We should be allowed to throw tomatoes at our elected officials.
Local, state, federal, what are we talking about?
And what kind of tomato?
And what kind of tomato?
Heirloom or, those little ones? You could throw the little ones.
And what if it's somebody you voted for? You still throwing tomatoes? Or,
I don't know.
What's the deal?
I don't know. A person wants to throw tomatoes at an elected official. I don't know what you gain by that, but be my guest. I have no idea.
But I do think that the line between citizen journalism and legitimate journalism, they're coming closer together.
And is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Some days it'll be great things, and some days it won't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, nobody is going to go and find Watergate, I don't think. But I do think that there are some things that could happen that are good behind it.
Have they? Or has it mostly been in the other direction? I mean, from what I see, citizen journalism hasn't worked very well.
It has not. But when you start thinking of some
And,
places where you can't do legit journalism, there is a place for it.
Yeah, and that's fine
When
if
the
you're
media is
covering a
controlled.
local story,
Exactly.
if you're doing something. But what we're seeing now are more and more trolls.
Exactly.
More and more people who are spreading fake news, conspiracy theories, and social media makes it easy.
I will tell you
to
something.
do that. You couldn't do that
You will
before.
appreciate this. Since 2004, I can think of right off the bat probably a dozen bloggers who said they've come to town and the Star News, the Weekly, and everything else, it was going to be the end of them because this guy in his mom's basement started a blog.
Yeah.
Or a podcast. And in every single case, within a year to a year and a half, guess what they're doing? They're simply re-reporting what they read in the legitimate outlets. Because do you know how to go get a story? Do you know how to develop a story? Do you know why you should talk to this guy instead of that guy?
Exactly.
And this is where these things fail, because people don't take the time to really learn or process what they have. Now, you know what? I have seen stuff on blogs that I took and turned into a real story. Because it was a real story, but the only thing this person was going to do was an announcement. And they didn't realize, oh, wow, this is really important, but the important part is just the second layer, and you got to pull the layer back.
Right.
So, like I said, the lines are coming a little bit closer, but now we're only 100 miles away instead of 1,000 miles away.
Yeah.
So, there's still some distance to be covered there.
I think that's right. Do we want to go to the news brief?
Comic book icon Stan Lee died Monday, November 12th at the age of 95. He was the creator of some of the genre's most iconic characters under the Marvel banner and spent nearly 80 years in the comic industry. Over 15 wildfires are burning throughout the state of California. The Camp Fire in Northern California is now being reported as one of the deadliest and most destructive fires in state history. Over 140,000 acres have been burned so far. In Southern California, the Woolsey Fire and Hill Fire caused evacuations in Los Angeles and Ventura counties. President Trump has criticized the state in a tweet saying poor forest management led to the rampant destruction. So far, over 60 are confirmed dead, with 600 still missing.
Americans from across the political spectrum can unite around prison reform legislation that will reduce crime while giving our fellow citizens a chance at redemption.
President Trump has announced his support for a bipartisan prison reform bill. The bill would ease mandatory minimum sentencing, grant judges more discretion in sentencing for minor crimes, and provide help to drug offenders serving longer sentences. The bill is strongly supported in the House but faces challenges in the Senate before it can become law. Friends and family of Jamel Robertson are asking for justice following an officer-involved shooting that left a 26-year-old dead outside of a Chicago suburb nightclub. Robertson was a security guard at the club when a shooting broke out. Jamel Robertson had a license to carry a firearm and had one of the people involved in the shooting subdued at gunpoint in the parking lot when an officer from the neighboring suburb arrived and shot Jamel to death. Initial reports say the officer thought Jamel was a suspect and asked him to drop his weapon, but witnesses at the scene say the officer never gave him a chance before opening fire. Family members are demanding that the name of the officer and body cam footage be released to reveal the truth behind the incident. The PUSD board has met its $10.1 million target for budget cuts and says that they may avoid more school closures, for now. The district must present their initial fiscal stabilization plan to the county by December 17th to avoid a takeover by the Los Angeles County Office of Education.
With the brothers standing behind Trump. Can we bring that back up? I got an observation on that one I want to make real quick. That's me moonwalking back in time.
Yeah,
to
I think
find it.
I think
They're looking for it.
they're looking for it. They are.
So PUSD did make it.
Yes.
All right. The guy over Trump's left shoulder.
Yeah, right.
What the hell is that behind his ears? Does he have a mullet, a shag, or
It may be a mullet, yeah.
Is he doing a Wolverine thing? What the hell is
I think
that?
it might be a mullet.
And he looks like he's smelling something really bad, too.
And is he like an actor? I don't know. Why is he there?
I have no idea.
Because I'll tell you who wasn't there. We say Trump proposes bipartisan sweeping prison reform.
That's right.
All true. Who wasn't there? There wasn't one Democrat in that room.
So it's not bipartisan.
Well, the bill is.
Yeah, but when we're doing the
But he
presentation-
certainly, yeah. I mean, he was certainly not.
I think that's Daryl Scott. I think that's a reverend.
Oh, okay.
Somebody look at an image of Daryl Scott and just let me know if I have that correct. That's what I think it is.
Okay.
PUSD.
PUSD. Tell me
Closed
about it.
its deficit gap.
Yeah.
They found the 10.1
How'd they
million.
do it?
Smoke, mirrors, peace pipe, everything else. I'm looking this way. I'm looking this way. I'm looking this way. But the problem becomes as we go forward, they're going to have to do this time and time and time again. Mm-hmm. And now the big discussion will become what will they get from Measure I and Measure J? Because we know that $7 million, that number was bandied about a whole lot. But now it's time to start talking about the money coming in, and we will see what happens.
And when does that money start to come in?
It was Reverend Scott.
Yeah.
So they will get the first payment in July of next year. So they cannot use it for current issues. And the other thing that came out this week is they're in the hole even more due to special education budget deficits. So it wasn't just 10.1 in the million. In the end, it was over 13.
So is this good news for Brian McDonald?
No, not at all. Even if he makes it this time, what does he do next year? What does he do the year after that? Mm-hmm. You cannot just have mommy and daddy keep paying the rent. At some point, you have to figure out how to stand on your own. And right now, the attitude just seems that we're going to cut what we need to cut, and the city's going to save us. The city's not going to keep saving them. So that's going to be a big issue. The district is probably too big, too many schools. So at some point, we will be talking about school closures again, is what I predict.
But maybe the only answer, because how much more can you cut administratively? And, when you go to those meetings, all you hear is, the administration is fat. But at some point, you're going to have to cut wheat as well as the chaff. And when do you do that?
I think at some point, the school board members need to lay bare the superintendent's contract and say, this is what he makes, this is his raise schedule.
Yeah.
He got a deal on a house through the school district. The district lent them the money for the house, and he's only paying 3%. Now, somebody got taken for a ride on that one, because if all he's paying is 3%, who's getting that deal at the bank? Mm-hmm. So now you look up, and the schools are suffering, which means students are suffering and families are suffering. And I like Brian. I think Brian is a great guy. I really do. But I think at some point we have to get back to how do we right-side this district.
Yeah.
And that might take closing a number of schools. And maybe we don't need all of these positions we do have over on Hudson, is the question.
Well, wasn't that the discussion, though, regarding the kind of seceding of Altadena and Sierra Madre, and should they be part of the Pasadena Unified School District?
I still say that when Altadena wanted to secede and have its own school district, I understand that PUSD, out of pride, you don't want to be the ones to say that you gave up the schools, but they would be a lot better off if they did. It would have been the best thing for them.
Well, it's certainly one way to right-size the district.
Yeah. At one point, PUSD included La Cañada, Temple City, San Marino. Every community around us was part of the PUSD at one point. And they all, as they incorporated and developed, they started their own school districts.
Yeah. While we're on local news,
okay.
Of course, our city manager has gotten a rather large...
Well, he's supposed to get a rather large raise, from what I understand.
Yes. It's going to bring him to about $290.
Okay.
Is that in the ballpark? You think they had to do that because of comparable salaries with other city managers, or are we being a little generous? Or
I haven't read the report yet, but
situation
usually
is?
These things you're guaranteed a promotion and a raise at this point, and at that point, to me, there should be a clause that as soon as you declare a fiscal emergency, salaries freeze at all levels. If you have to go to the voters and say, you give us more, then you get less.
Sure.
And you know what? There will be a number of voters, and it is not true. There will be a number of voters, and there already are, because I've already gotten 3 phone calls about it, and they already believe that the day after the election, the city got a pot of money, and that Mermel is getting a piece of a pot because they raised the taxes. Now, they didn't get a pot of the money, but how does it look?
They won't get it till July, but yeah.
How does it look? You always have to worry about the appearance of these things, and it doesn't look good to say, we're going to start tossing you money now. It's not the best time to do it. So.
Yeah, I agree.
And he works hard for his money, and he wants his cash. I'd want it too. If it was mine, I'd want it too.
Sure.
But you got to understand how it looks.
Sure. Before we wrap up, I want to go back to national news.
Okay.
And talk about the potential Speaker Pelosi. And by the way, again, we want to give the number, 626-794-8585. Call up. And you can find us also for comments on Facebook. So, Speaker Pelosi. Now, it's a very, very tricky and difficult situation that she's in because she's being attacked. It's kind of a pincer attack. She's being attacked from 2 different sides.
Okay.
She's being attacked by progressives who say we need a more progressive new generation of leaders. Then she's being attacked from the moderates or the few conservatives in the House who are saying, she's too branded by the Republicans as a liberal, and we need someone who's more, I guess Joe Manchin-like, who can appeal to the heartland. And
Joe Manchin, who just voted for Kavanaugh?
Yeah, Joe Manchin, who just voted for Kavanaugh. And so between those 2 factions, she's being pressed. Now, of course, how are they ever going to agree on an alternative? We don't really see anybody that they're necessarily going to agree with.
She will get it.
Or agree on.
She's going to be the Speaker. However, she needs to be told several things going into this before she's given it. She needs to be reminded that in 2010, she could not rally the base.
Right.
And her, along with Barack Obama, they lost both seats in Congress. A shellacking, which led to the obstruction of Barack Obama's presidency going forward. She needs to be reminded of that. Second thing she needs to understand is that if she cannot, and this is a point you made, so I'm not going to take credit for it.
Yeah.
Set up a bench of somebody who can come after her to keep this going, then she shouldn't get it. Now, do we need her experience right now? Yes. But she shouldn't be coronated.
No, I agree with that. I don't think she should be coronated, and I think she has to make some promises. I really think that she should only serve until 2020.
Because she's acting
2021.
She's acting like she's privileged.
Yeah.
She's entitled to it.
No, she should
And
only
that's the
serve
issue I have with
another 2 years, starting in January.
And then let's get younger.
And let's have what we call in business, let's have a succession plan, right? Yeah. So let's have a new generation of leaders. And when I say a succession plan, I don't mean the current number 2 or the current number 3. Like, Clyburn or Hoyer or all of those old folks. I don't want to see them doing it.
And I don't think you have to go to somebody who was necessarily just elected, but you can get younger than this, and you can go beyond the 2 or 3.
That's right.
And you can begin to find a progressive that can help you work with that side of the party, the moderate side of the party, and you can get what you want out of this.
I think that's right, and get some better positions in committees. But I think maybe even get some chairs of subcommittees for some of the younger.
And
folk.
I think this discussion on this issue to let her know and let the old guard know that the party is changing, I think is the best thing for them. Even though it looks a little disruptive right now, once it's smoothed out, everybody will understand where this is going and what's happening next.
Right.
Instead of, oh, it's yours, you're coordinated. I'm not down with that. That was a mistake that was made with Hillary, And for the past 2 years, Democrats have been going, that was a mistake.
That's right.
And now suddenly here we are about to do it again.
That's right. So as we go off, and we will still stay with you on Facebook, I'm assuming, so we're going to do that. But we should let you know we will not be with you next week because you're going to be enjoying your second day of turkey leftover, your first day of turkey leftovers. And we're going to let you do that in peace. And we're going to let our wonderful staff and crew have a day off. And we have a call. Oh, my gosh. And we barely have time to take it. Philip, you want to talk to us quickly?
Yeah, hi. This is Philip Cobell. Is that Andre and Barry?
Hey,
Yeah.
what's up, man?
I can't believe I'm actually on the air.
You are.
It's good to hear you guys. I don't get to listen to your show much, but I noticed that you were talking today. It's been an exciting week, and I just wanted to hear some commentary about this Frankenstein monster that Terry Tornick created in Pasadena with the passage of Measure I and J. I think Pasadena school families believe that they're responsible for the 70% vote especially for J.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed that Measure J, the advisory measure that said that the city should give $7 million directly to the schools, that actually passed with greater numbers than Measure I. So I think a lot of people on the city side are taking credit for finally doing something for schools, but I think that the real gorilla in the room, or the real juggernaut that's been created, is this idea of parent power. And so many people voted. 22,000 people voted for Measure I and J, which is 3 times as many people as voted for Terry Tornick in his last mayoral campaign.
Hey, Philip, stick around. We're going to run to the Facebook comments,
and
then I'll talk about this.
And we've got to sign off our live stream. But hang in, and we'll talk more on the other side, on the Facebook side. But right now we've got to sign off. I'm Barry Gordon.
I'm Andre Coleman.
And we're talking over the credits. This is NewsRap live at 5.